Met Park Sports Center in the heart of Pasay City for the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series. And our match at hand, it's in the 19 and under division. It'll be between the Perpetual Help Junior Altas and the Ndsl Believers. And the issue at hand is the Ndsl Believers will only be playing with 5 people. But now we shall talk about that later. As once again, this has been Cholo Pangilinan, the Professor, Sir Randy Sakdalan, and we'll turn it over to Ryan Pajaro, our GA, for the start of our ball game. We go back to the action. This time our 5th game, our second to last game of the day. As we have the Ndsl Believers going up against the Perpetual Help Junior Altas. And we can remember Ndsl again losing in their last game last Tuesday against the San Sebastian Golden Staglets. Then we have a wedgie.
Yep, very difficult.
And on the other side, the Perpetual Help Junior Altas dominating their last game, also on Tuesday, against R1 Sports. So certainly right now, Ndsl, the issue at hand is they're only playing with 5 people, so no substitutions for them. On the other side, Perpetual with a full house on their bench.
Yep, 13 players against 5.
And you know, most of the time we all know the outcome of this, but at the same time, never say never.
Yep, all indications it's going to be a blowout. Look, the guys in yellow, they cannot afford to play hard defense because they might get into foul trouble. That leaves them with one more person left out from the game. They only have 5.
Exactly. And this guy, Justin Elduayan, has been something else for Ndsl as they get the first 2 points of the game.
Yep, and they have the lead, surprisingly. Ooh, slip.
So again, Justin Elduayan, you know, one lone bright spot for the Ndsl Believers. He has been doing all the work for them ever since their last game, so something has to change, and definitely that's one of it.
Losing the ball.
This time Rosales will finish like it's nothing.
Yep. I expect this game to be a little faster. Faster than the usual. And
Rosales gets it back. Almost lost it, sends it outside. Zamoras drops it to Rosales at the corner for 3. No good. Dulanas, power move.
So this is the start of things for the Altas. They have a first taste of the lead for them. So the Altas, remember, they're the reigning champions in the NCAA junior
Exactly.
division.
So you could expect, NCAA championship caliber talent from them.
Yeah, minus their best player.
Speaking of talent, yes, minus their best player who recently just committed to the Ndsl University Green Archers, talking about LeBron James Diep. That was something else, right?
Yep. Well, for obvious reasons, he's going to go to the Sun.
But on the other hand, again,
Of course, there was speculation that he might go to San Sebastian because his father played for San Sebastian. But I guess the camaraderie between Topex and his father Romel was actually the clincher for that move.
so right now we're seeing a new five coming for Perpetual. And again, even though without LeBron James Diep, for sure, they're going to be a team to beat.
Yep.
Duino got the fadeaway. The junior Altas in transition. Zanoria drops it. Almost, but not quite.
That's not a good sign. They're babying the shot of the Altas.
Unable to score that sequence.
Easy does it, partner. Just a sidestepping move.
5-4. Coach Yong Katekista calling a timeout. We'll be back for more. Back to the action here in the Ndsl Sports League. As we see that sidestep move. But again, resulting to an unfortunate injury. Hopefully he's all okay. 65. Foul called on Bourbon.
This is really a tough call for Ndsl. They've got 5 players. One of them is playing injured at this time.
This game will be a tough call for them, the whole game. And this guy will only be their hope. Justin Elduin, playing for the Ama University Kings in the juniors division. Meanwhile, great ball movement from the junior Altas. Here comes Elduin against Zanoria. They're having a hard time. Outside. Now Elduin putting on the moves. To the corner they try. No good. Mitura. High pass. Bourbon finishes.
Uncontested. Yeah, we're going to see more of that in this ball game.
Elduin again. The front of this offense. Oh, wait a minute. Did he just attempt a 4?
They're going to try anything.
Mitura from deep gets it to go.
Yep.
And as early as the halfway mark of our first period, we're starting to see
The whole picture.
exactly.
What's this going to be?
I couldn't put it into words.
Yeah, but we go through the motions of this, George. We respect the game of basketball as much as anybody else here. So
Of course we do.
I'm just have a question for you. Is Nitura related to the volleyball players of Letran and
Yes.
Adamson and the player of Mapua?
Yes, Lance Nitura is related to Cyrus Nitura and to the other Nitura who plays volleyball. I forgot her name.
So there's such a thing as a basketball dynasty in collegiate basketball now. If you want to put it that way, partner.
Well, it's all genes, so,
Yeah, right.
so definitely.
So from basketball to volleyball.
I mean, you've mentioned Romel Diep and LeBron James Diep.
Yep.
And hopefully Lance Nitura will stay for the seniors division. But he still has, I believe, one more playing year in the juniors division. Meanwhile, Ndsl still a disaster in offense. Again, Justin Elduin cannot do it all. Bourbon tried to slam it home.
You know, what the Altas would really have to prevent here, or at least make sure that they don't get is an injury. But if they try to take it a soft basketball, or not to take it as seriously as possible.
13-8. High pass. Finish.
Easy basket for Velasquez. No contest. They just have to look up.
Fifteen to 8. Elduin to the right side. As we're nearing the 3-minute mark of our first chapter. Elduin goes left. He'll attack, gets blocked by Nitura. Houdini in transition. Houdini, soft touch.
Easily. Again, piling up the numbers here early in the first period.
Ndsl now slowly is, well, not losing focus, but that time they do make a bucket. Nitura for 3, bingo!
Yep. Easily making the basket. You know, even the outfits are from Diego did not even bother him in taking the 3-point attempt.
At this point, it's shooting practice for the junior Altas. As Houdini grabs a steal, he will attack and he will score.
You would look at this professional Altas lineup. You would think that this is a collegiate team,
Actually,
ready for the NCAA.
Actually, not only, you know, with the way they play, but also their frames,
Yes.
the heights of the players.
Yes, they're really tall, lanky, and pretty athletic. So it's by a platoon. I remember covering the SBP before. Small basketeers. 5 players per quarter will play, right? And then in the fourth quarter, that's up to the coach who's going to be fielded after fielding the 15 players in the first 3 quarters.
Exactly, just like in Passerelle.
Yes. And then they're discouraged to take the 3-point shot.
I think that's going to be a bad miss from Ndsl. They're already trailing by 12 points. And again, we're starting to see the whole picture. As that shot is sank by June Kabatbat. Over a minute remaining in Chapter 1.
Oh, foul given up. And there's going to be 2 free throws because Perpetual is in the penalty.
$25-10. Make it a 15-point lead for the junior Altas, I'm sorry. And at the line, it's gonna be Mark Destreza. First one is good.
Oh, you must have a big heart to play this ball game. You know? And true enough, the Ndsl are believers. So, what you got to do with action if you're just believing.
Exactly.
With 5 players, really not much of a chance here.
And again, hopefully they'll have more players their next matchups.
Yep.
Because that has been their problem, you know.
Definitely.
They don't have the strength in numbers, unlike, of course, school-based teams who, you know, has a full house almost all the time. Elduin, pull up, in and out.
Definitely in this tournament, Elduin will make a case for himself. if he continues to play stellar basketball. Oh, surprised me with that.
Off the window for Cersis Miagar. Perpetual. No good in the 3-ball. Shot clock is off. They put it back in. Not that time.
Well, Christina's really young. If you look at this fellow. Soft hand still. He's gonna grow probably 2-3 more inches.
I'm sorry, that is actually Yasser Palisok. He's at the line right now.
Oh. Is he wearing a different jersey?
Yes, they are wearing different jerseys. At least some of them. Same with June Gabatbat. He's wearing the jersey of Jericho Cristino, who has already committed to the Perpetual Senior Altas.
All right.
El Duayan, man, the back move, the pull-up. That'll do it for our first period, 28-14. The Perpetual helped Junior Altas doubling the production of the Ndsl Believers and dominating them as well. And we'll be back for more. Once again, this is the NDSL Basketball Series.
We are back, and now at the second quarter, the Junior Atlas won their first game, but that is no reason for them to slack off. After their big win, they immediately went to practice and even had 2 sessions yesterday as well. For Coach Geoff Cleopas, this is the double time they need in order to fully develop their team chemistry. Now going against another club-based team, Coach Geoff told the players that they're only as good as their last game because, like he said, it's not the opponent we're playing against, it's ourselves, and we need to overcome ourselves by treating this like this is our last game. And that definitely molds the character of his players. Cholo and Randy?
Thank you very much, Daniel, and indeed, that's what I admire about Coach Geoff Cleopas, even though, again, clearly you have the strength and numbers, and almost definitely you're gonna get the W. You still have that kind of mindset, you know, to really still do your best despite all those circumstances.
Technically, it's called the growth mindset.
Exactly.
You have that kind of framework in mind. Yeah, because, you know, you still have to play the game no matter what. It's not like, you know, when you parade your players, you're going to win.
And that's what you like to see. And really humble, Coach Geoff Cleopas, of a championship, and you still have that kind of mindset.
I believe that's the first championship for Perpetual
Yeah.
in the juniors division.
Almost 2 minutes, or rather more than 1 minute passing by chapter 2. So Perpetual with some new faces inserted to start our second period. Miagar will send it out for Ndsl. Out of bounds. Possession will stay with Ndsl.
I'd like to correct myself. They have 16 players for Perpetual, not 13. You got 5 on the floor and 11 sitting down.
And again, almost every school-based team will have a full house.
Yep.
Right now, it's still 28-14. No team still scoring so far for the last 2 minutes of the second period. Inside, no good for Palisok. El Duayan running. They try from deep.
Oh, yes.
And they sink it. That is Destreza hitting a 3. Ferrer gets 2 points.
Well, approach to this kind of game is really developmental, Sean. You know, you try to improve your game, your confidence.
Exactly. It's all about the other aspects of the game, just like what Justin Elduin is doing. I'm sure he's really just, trying to gain confidence from everything he's experiencing.
Yes, and up against the toughest team probably that they could be offered from the NCAA ranks. You're playing the defending champions.
Exactly. Great way to put it. Not every day you get to face a team like this, especially if you're only a club team.
Yes. Because I remember one of my former students, they played against San Sebastian in an out-of-town ball game. I said, sir, it's our opportunity to play against Abueva and company at the time. And say, we're not be able to play against them. We may not win against them, but to play against them is good enough for us.
Exactly. Sometimes to even play the sport is already an honor.
Especially if one or a couple of them becomes, big-time players in the future and say, no, one time I played against him, scored against him.
Exactly.
That's going to be really, really priceless on your memory bank. Especially if you have pictures together that you're defending against him.
Exactly.
It's not a Touchy Road Museum. Tremendous.
So definitely, again, for the likes of Justin Elduin, who just got an end one and a 3-point play completed, definitely, again, it's going to be a big deal for someone like him, to be able to go up against these kinds of teams. And, of course, the possibility of him getting recruited is not, of course, impossible.
Yes. That's why he has to keep his head down and start working really and best foot forward all the time on the floor. But to play good 40 minutes against a tough, big professional team is no joke. That's going to be difficult.
In the meantime,
they keep on pummeling.
That is Mark Destreza getting an end one. Unable to make it a 3-point play though. Ndsl now only trailing by 4 points. What's happening to Perpetual?
Well, they've become listless and not putting on the higher percentage shots, and the long rebounds ending up in the arms and the hands of Ndsl.
Looks like Perpetual is focusing on the 3-point shot.
Well, this is really the third group for Perpetual that we're looking at.
Miagar off the back iron. Rebound by Binagatan. And here goes Rosales. Another steal by Ndsl. What has gotten into them?
Oh, see? Well, Perpetual has become listless. They're taking things for granted at this time. So that's the opportunity. That's really the win of Ndsl. These are not higher percentage shots they're taking, and they're missing.
Zamoras missed a shot. Rosales tried to get it back. Still no good.
They couldn't even put it in. Well, this is just the first half, Cholo. So, there's room for them to make that adjustment. Just give this guy some opportunity with that.
Finally, Kakay Zamoras hit from downtown. 5-point lead for the Perpetual help Junior Altas. And Duayan, even though he's playing very well, it's inevitable, that the fatigue factor will kick in anytime soon.
Because he's handling the ball. Every offense he has to handle that ball. No replacement. 40 minutes. Half of it he's defending. The other half he's scoring. So it's really tough. It's a tough job in the office today for him. That's why he's just continuing to miss, and his shots are becoming uncontrolled. Even his decision making has been impaired because of fatigue.
Certainly. But you know what they say, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
I've heard that song quite
So as long as Ndsl is alive after this game, this will only make them better.
Yes, definitely.
Zamoras with a steal. Out of bounds, possession will stay with Perpetual. Patalingog outside. They're up by 4.
Patalingog is probably from Cebu, partner.
Who?
Patalinhog.
Oh, Patalinghug.
Yeah, they have an avenue in Patalinhog in Mactan, Cebu. I would be surprised if he says he's from Manila. Well, he's playing in Manila.
So Dulanas finding an opening during that break. Another steal by Perpetual. Zamoras to Patalinghug. Oh, sorry miss.
Yep, they're babying the shots, and when you go up for a basket, you have to be squared for it. Oh, good pass.
Timeout called right here. 6-point lead by Perpetual. And we'll be back for more. We go back to the action. Last 3 minutes and 15 seconds before our halftime break. Ndsl again only playing with 5 players. Zamoras with a steal. Rosales attacking. Won't finish. Dulanas still no good. Rosales gets it. He'll try from deep and he gets it to go.
But the sense of urgency has been put into the shirts of this group for Perpetual Altas.
Another steal. Patalinghug swipes the rock away. Zamoras losing the leather. $20 to shoot for them. Zamoras wasting no time. Gets it to go.
No problem. Just a corner flare and a three-point shot for Zamoras.
So slowly but surely steering away are the boys from Perpetual as Elduin will miss that go-ahead bucket. Patalinghug inside to Dulanas.
Easy basketball. Just find the open man. They're running.
Make it now a 16-point lead for the junior Altas.
Oh, he's not giving up. Diego.
That is
Castro.
Uriel Penaso making the shot. Meanwhile, Zamoras no good on the three-point attempt. Dulanas still no good.
No bad shot taken actually by Dulanas. That's a way to put up a jumper from that distance.
Looks like Coach Joff Cleopas trying out new things.
Here comes another a set of 5 for Altas in the next dead ball situation.
Elduin running. They're down by only 11 points. But Patalinghug gets it back for Perpetual. Outside, Rosales. No good. Destreza. Pinoy step. No good. Patalinghug again. A fast-paced ball game we have.
Two free throws.
That is guard Dulanas at the line. First one is good.
These guys are probably bunched in one section in high school, right?
No, probably not.
Probably not. You don't
Probably
think so?
not. Because,
High school, huh? High school.
yeah, probably not. I don't think so.
Why not?
I mean, wait. Let me rethink it. No, probably not. Because, first of all, they're not the same ages. So some of them are probably in senior high. Some of them are probably
In junior
not
high.
yet. Yeah, junior high.
Oh, that's right. That's right. But those in junior high should be in the same section. Because
but-
that's going to be a problem because you have to ask for their permission. We have a practice game today, and if they're in different sections, you'll be talking to different people.
Yeah, but I doubt most of them are in senior high. I mean, I doubt most of them are in junior high. Because most of them are 16 years old and above. Only Houdini is 15. And Brent Rosales is 15. Number 88 right now playing.
So that's about grade 9.
Yeah.
Grade
Great.
9, grade 10.
Yeah, grade 9, grade 10. So probably two of those players are classmates. But the rest of them, well, I'll bet on it that all of them are in the ABM strand.
You think so? They don't like math, do they?
I mean, most
Well,
players.
no more ABM, no more Hooms next year. Okay, it's just basically all the same.
Most
So-
players don't like math. So
Well, not too many people like math. Only 30% actually do.
you have the statistics, Sir Randy, to back that up.
87 to 89% are comfortable with mathematics, and they would be something like that in terms of the study. So
So what are you saying? Is it normal to hate math?
not really, but not very proficient. It's like waking up in the morning. You're not comfortable waking up 7, 8 o'clock. They'd probably go 9, 10 a.m. Something like that.
So with that said, I won't count the lead of Perpetual anymore. All I know is just they're up by a bunch. 51 to 34.
That's the narrative.
Again, it's 51 to 34. Basically, the Perpetual helped Junior Altas just crushing their opponents, Ndsl. And hopefully, Ndsl will be able to turn things around. But for now, we'll be looking at the move of the game. Lance Nitura. You know, as basic as it gets, you know. Most of the time, our moves of the game, not, you know, really flashy, but this time just really simple basketball showcased by Mr. Nitura. And again, hopefully he'll play Perpetual in the collegiate scene. But we'll talk about that more soon. We'll be back for more action. 51 to 34. A big time lead by the Perpetual Help Junior Altas. And so far again, before the game even started, we already saw the big picture. But actually, Ndsl had some good stretches, but then again, you know, with 5 players only on your roster for today, you really cannot be consistent with anything.
All fronts, and the picture says that, you know, this would come far in between those baskets from Liegre and Duayan. The Altas certainly a class of its own. They're still going through the motions, and they're trying to perfect and sharpen their sauce.
So is this gonna be a 4 versus 5
Yes,
matchup?
It looks that way. He's gonna play. Canlas is gonna play. Heavily taped.
There's gonna be 5v5. But only 4 on offense.
Yep.
That is not Canlas actually, that is MJ Destreza.
So,
So a 3 coming from Ndsl. Elduayan. So they basically have 4 players only on offense. But Elduayan scoring.
wow, that's embarrassing, the defense. Alduayan doesn't care any less. They'll just take it.
And that's what happens if you go up a team that has nothing to lose. But Zanoria sinks in a 3.
They're going to be matched. But it's the first time really I'm covering any game that you have one player lagging behind in offense or in defense.
Elduayan up against Tabuan. And the line's Elduayan. He has been playing phenomenally, but then again, what can you do if you only have 5 players on your roster? And one of them is pretty much just forced to play.
Has he gotten any offers, Alduayan? One of the schools can consider him now.
He's playing for the Ama University Kings in the juniors division. No good that time. Destreza goes right outside. Miagar.
Oh, yes! Over the outstretched arms of Litura.
So maybe Ndsl just has a chance. You're only trailing by 11 as we have 2 minutes passing by, but Lance Nitura makes it 14.
Yep, he's got other plans. Contrary to the plans of Ndsl to make it a little bit more competitive.
Exactly, Lance has other plans. Miagar outside. Destreza to Elduayan. Gonna go left. Shot clock down to 4. No good. Nitura running. Zanoria finishing.
That's a good thing that, you know, Duayan held on a bit. There's a moral in that play.
We got a 15-point lead and a chance to make it 16. Nitura unselfish play, giving it to the cutting Renzo Zanoria.
Oh, like a gimme.
A 4-point play. As Houdini makes a bucket. 17-point lead, Elduayan, nowhere to go. Destreza fade away, in and out. This time it's Houdini. Oh, finding his way to the iron.
So nobody just would stop the ball carrier at that point.
No good. Another try goes in.
So these guys from Perpetual, 2-3 years from now, you'll see them in the collegiate leagues.
Hopefully Lance Natura is one of them.
Yep. Yeah, but they have the size, you know, and by the time that their skills would have improved.
El Duayan fighting for his life, losing it. Zenoria as easy as it can get. Timeout called. Over 6 minutes remaining in our third period. We'll be back for more action.
Dealing with fatigue, Ndsl basketball are hanging on to their hard work and perseverance. For Justin Elduayan, they will take this over any day because despite being undermanned, they are grateful for the opportunity to play against an NCAA caliber team. Upon talking to him, he says with a smile, "We just want to show the best and everything that we can do." With MJ Destreza playing with the swollen right ankle, Justin says this is where they'll take strength to power through. 5 men until the end. Cholo and Randy.
Thank you very much, Daniel. And you know, I admire Justin Elduayan. You know, despite everything they're going through right now, still having that really positive mindset. And what can you do, you know, aside from having that kind of mindset?
Well, when you're there, you just have to do your best. You can't pull back. Just like in a lot of things that we do in life, you know, this is probably their life at the moment for the next few years at least. So be the best of it. And Elduayan's getting the skills. Imagine if he's coming up with and being manned by these people who will be superstars of the future for Perpetual.
And you know, as someone as good as Justin Elduayan, I'm sure it's not impossible he can play in the big leagues.
Yes.
Perhaps maybe for Perpetual or any NCAA or UAAP team.
Actually, he's the prototype of somebody who's shifty. If you look at some of the guards playing in the NCAA and in the UAAP, you would see that he's got a prototype in terms of the build and the shiftiness. All you have to do is to develop those muscles to be able to be not too underrated when you go to the low post because he's playing the guard position.
Exactly. Sky's the limit for someone like Justin Elduayan. At that time, 3-point shot is made by Destreza. Jose Moras, basic off the window shot.
These are the kind of guys that they play in the interims, they score about 40 points. Isn't it? And when you play in I'm sure you must have played in some interims in college. So some of them are even hopeful to get into the lineup of the varsity team.
Actually. So definitely, you know, I mean, in general, the talent these days are just, you know, unbelievable.
And you would even wonder, how come these players were able to get into the varsity team now? Then, and looking at the talent number, how could he have cracked the lineup then?
That was the case back then, but now even, you know, the number 15 guy on the roster will be better than most players.
Yes. There's so much to learn, you know, even if you go through online and you learn, and I'm looking at how the basics are being taught and how to beat certain defenses and so on. I've never seen such training before, and some specialized coaches, shooting, passing, off the dribble.
I mean, when you look back, Robert Bolick was player number 15 at one point.
Yes, for De La Salle.
And from 15, he quickly became a player number 1.
For San Beda.
Yeah.
And in the MVP. And now he's in the professional. Our current coach is from Perpetual, Gilbert Malabana. So the tallest coach in the NCAA.
You know, it's rare actually for, you know, not a point guard to be a coach.
Yeah, you know, the conversations that you'll get when you talk to coaches who play different positions, it's really something else. Like, you know, of course, the guards will have the bragging right to say, you know, there's a different perspective when you have a big man as your coach. You know, that he sees it that way, but us guards, it will be different in how the perspective of how the game should be played.
Exactly, and perhaps, you know, Coach Gilbert can pass his big man knowledge to the big men of LPU. Or perhaps the time when Sean O'Malley stayed with LPU.
Well, he's a Benildian now, so...
Yeah, unfortunately.
Fortunately for Benild, and maybe fortunately also for us. You know, he deserves what he wants for his future, and for all the players, for that matter.
Actually, yeah.
For that matter. I mean, nothing against people moving to other schools. If that's how your life's going to be improved, then deal with it.
We'll talk about that more after this timeout. Over 2 minutes remaining in our third period. We'll be back for more action. Back to the action for the last 2 minutes and 5 seconds of our third period. Again, Perpetual just dominating this game already at or above the 80-point mark before our fourth period.
Well, they'll definitely hit the century mark in this game. You know, without much effort. And they're playing defense for Perpetual. It's not that, you know, they're just overpowering their opponents in offense, but they're playing decent defense. Because that's something out of the habit. You've gone through varsity ball. I just went through pickup ball when I was in high school. Nothing on college. I just decided to study when I was in college. So it's something else, you know. And I missed one point raised by my classmate. He cracked the volleyball team of our school, and he said, "Look, I can only play volleyball at this time, and I cannot play it again. I will be an accountant," which he became an accountant.
Oh, okay.
He said, "I can be an accountant anytime in the future, but I can only play volleyball the way I love it now, the years that I am as strong and as young as I am."
That is right. And even though you are strong and young in the future, you know, you don't always have the opportunity.
Yes. So you take it. So for these athletes, you know, which reminds me, Rajan Rondo just picked up his degree from the University of
Exactly.
Kentucky.
And you know, realistically speaking, how many of these high school players really do go to college, to big
Yes.
college schools? You know.
Yep, and then they don't finish school. Right now, it's really a challenge for us to keep some of the players to stay in school.
Yeah. That is the reality. Not everybody has a chance to play college ball, even high school ball.
Yep, especially now that the Japan and the Korean leagues and the Chinese leagues are open and Taiwan leagues are open for Asian imports. So, for Go College.
Less than 30 seconds remaining in our third chapter.
That shiftiness of Guayan is something else, partly. In the NCAA, which I am very much an observer at the moment since I belong to an NCAA school, guys like that do have a spot in the league in terms of shiftiness. And then the smarts.
Again, one thing's for sure, the sky's the limit for someone like Justin Eldoyan, but hopefully he'll polish his skills even more.
Yep. In some parlance, pare steak lang yan. Pag pinakain mo ng steak yan araw-araw, gagaling yan. Huwag masyado sa kanin tsaka sa sisig.
Kaso Sir Randy, mahal ng steak eh. Yun naman ang challenge dun.
Definitely, no? Medyo mahal. Yung local na lang, huwag ka lang muna imported.
Ano na, beef steak na lang.
Pare pork steak pwede.
Kahit ano pa yan. And there you have it, our first 3 periods, 85 to 46. We'll be back for more. And this is once again the National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series. Go back to the action for the 4th and final period of this game. And again, from the get-go, we saw the bigger picture, the biggest picture that this game can produce. It's that perpetual escaping with a W, but still good to see the likes of Justin Elduayan showcasing us what he can do, win or lose. No good from Destreza. Perpetual continuing to execute.
Oh, almost lost the handle there in that attempt.
It was Yasser Palisok scoring as Ndsl down by a huge margin.
Perpetual actually doing Elduayan a favor by guarding him tightly. So
He can rest.
Yeah. You know, he's getting the skills and he's getting the competition that he liked against the bigger boys of Perpetual.
Destreza, no good from beyond the arc.
Oh, good pass.
And you can see it, Ndsl just, to simply put it, tired.
Yeah, 3 quarters straight that they played. Oh, and able to score in spite of that muscle lump.
So, teams just trading baskets, and for sure, Perpetual will hit that century mark. And for Elduayan again, you better make the most of this opportunity. Not everybody you get, not every day rather you get, champion coaches from the NCAA watching you.
Yep, that's for 40 minutes at that. No rest.
But one thing's for sure, if Coach Geoff Cleopa says he's not impressed with Justin Elduayan, he's lying for sure. Because I'm sure even he will admit that Justin Elduayan is, talented.
You know the build of Elduayan? This is a long time ago for you, Cholo, to even recognize. Reminds me so much of the build of a very young Ato Agustin, who played for LPU and Crispa in the PBL in the 1980s. That's how he was built then. Almost same hair, yung parang Prince Valiant akong tawagin na. Ganyan yung itsura lang niya. Pati tindig niya, ganyan. He was 5'9", 5'10", si Ato, eventually 5'11", as a matured person. But that's how he was built. So,
Who knows?
yep. Yeah, ganyan. No? Yung stance, yung payat ng katawan, yung tindig. Yan, pati pag-dribble.
Definitely, again, you never know.
Yep.
Who know?
He makes the right choices, he might end up even better.
Definitely far from impossible. Right now, he's in the good hands of Coach Mark Herrera in the AMA University Kings, Junior Kings rather. And right now, he's out here to just showcase his skills.
Wala na, pagod na talaga eh. Look at him. Pagod na eh.
Well, you can't blame them.
Yeah, it's, you're up against a bigger, a much skilled champion team for 40 minutes.
With only 5 of you.
Yes.
And that's even without their top player. So 5 points away from the century mark are the junior Altas.
There's going to be a lot of pressure for Perpetual to repeat next season in the NCAA, in season 101. Especially with the teams, if they're recruiting for high school, which they are actually doing right now. Dati sa college lang nagre-recruit eh. Ngayon pati high school na. Those they intend to play in college, they enroll in high school. That's a practice. That's acceptable. They recruit and they wanted them, and they play in high school. So they're going to be a standard in the NCAA tournament. The kind of players that they have and the kind of system, the opponents will be fitting. I'm sure Coach Rendon and the Greenies will be looking at how to, plug those holes that they found matched up against Perpetual.
Well, certainly. I mean, we do have the likes of, Mark Goho Cruz playing in the juniors division and then continuing his college career for the Perpetual Senior Altas. So it's not impossible. Hopefully, again, Lance Nitura, the likes of him, Lance Nitura, maybe, Renzo Zanoria also play their college careers with Perpetual.
Well, it also would depend on the timing. If they're coming into college, there are still spots for them, then they will not go shopping elsewhere. The problem with junior players who are so outstanding in high school could not crack the lineup because there's somebody who's already well established, who's taken their position, and therefore they will be languishing in the bench and would rather consider playing for another school who would give them time and maybe a little more allowance to take care of business.
Yeah,
Right?
that is a factor, sadly, nowadays.
That, I hate to say it, but not every day I talk to parents. I also talk to agents. So
Imagine, college players, basically teenagers having agents.
I was surprised that I came back to school in 2021. And okay, fine. But that's how things are. You just have to deal with it. And for these players, it's really a tough decision. And you have also the parents putting in their 10 cents worth, not so much in terms of the education of their children, but among the other aspects of playing for an institution.
It is what it is. As the times change, things also change.
But of course, our idea and our intention is also always that's for the best of my kid. And that decision has to be made in the future. Same way here. Some, they have conflicts with their coaches, how they're being used. They transfer school because they're not given minutes. Those are the things. Before, you'd say, the player development will come on the third year because first year, second year, on the third, they'd probably get the system on the third year. And they'll really be big shots on the fourth and the fifth year. But not anymore.
Exactly.
If you're not developing in the first year, second year, or maybe just in the first year, you're not used properly, or you think you're not used properly, then there's another window for you to look at. And depends on the other leagues that you wanted to play with.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yep.
You don't need to develop anymore. You can just get finished products.
Yeah.
Which is, again, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Maybe good thing for the players.
Yep. I like to use the term of William C. He said, "Sir, pitas-pitas kasi yan."
Okay.
Okay, so sabi ko, let me translate that in a more technical term. They're hanging fruits.
Literal, sir.
Literal. Pinaganda mo lang. Sabi ko, look, that's why I'm in school. That's why I'm your team. Okay? You say it locally, I'll say it technically for you.
And we'll talk about that more for sure after this timeout. 3 minutes remaining in our fourth period. We'll be back for more action. Back to the action here for the last 3 minutes of the fourth period. And going back to our conversation a while ago, again, for the players, it's a good thing, the more benefits.
Yeah, the choices are there, better conditions for them.
Exactly, more choices.
Yes, and hopefully they get to study really more. It's something that, as an academician myself, for the last, I don't want to say the years, but it started in 1986. Something like that, being in school. It's just a different track, for the players. They're not going to be players 20 years. Although that's some of the leagues now, I see they're 20 years or 40 years, and they have these tournaments. Actually, I have a different feeling about this kind of leagues, partner, because the risk of injury could be permanent. It would always be there because they're playing at a risk condition, a risk environment. Yeah, but the spirit is willing.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the only thing that's getting sacrificed is, of course, the parity.
Yes.
Because you would want teams to be competitive, but of course, not every school has the same
resources.
Financial resources.
Resources or alumni
Help.
and other connections. It's part of the program. Although now it's being asked, and I'll tell it to you straight. I just came from a workshop. They look at how the alumni has contributed to the development of the programs of the school. And some of the schools that we know, including our school, Cholo, that's going to have a high mark for a university network. Kulang na rin ng isang word, kinumpleto ko na yung accreditation body. They look at alumni, how it's contributing to the program. And that can be said in terms of the basketball program and other sports program of the university. So it's also counted now as part of the outcomes and the outputs contribution of a university to society.
Exactly.
So,
I wish every alumni in every school could, be as generous as the ones we have in the LSU.
yeah, things have changed really, but alumni kasi depende sa batches yan eh. So
Exactly.
there are those who are generous. UE has openly come up with an invitation to its alumni, inviting them to share and contribute in its sports program. San Sebastian, I know
Yeah.
also that's how they've gotten the guys to be there. So it's no secret anymore that the help that alumni can offer is substantial and formidable, and it's really contributory.
And there you have it. The Ndsl Believers will stop dribbling. And that is our final score, 117-53. The 19 and under squad of the Perpetual Help Junior Altas, the first team to reach past the century mark in our Ndsl basketball series. Congratulations to Coach Jeff Cleopas. And of course to the rest of the coaching staff. And for Coach Yong Katekista and the Ndsl Believers, again, hopefully we'll see a better lineup, more players in their next meetings. But for now, this will be a lesson for them. And our move of the game, it'll be this Kakay Zamora's high-flying move in transition. We know him for being a shooter, but in this specific move of the game, he shows that he has range as a player. A different kind of range. And there you have it. And we still have one more game after this one. It'll be the MLQU Stallions going up against the St. Clair Saints. But for now, in the meantime, we shall turn it over to Daniel Laguardia for our best player of the game interview.
Thank you so much, Cholo. I have here our best player today, guard Delanas with 20.6 rebounds, 2 assists, 4 steals, and 1 block. So when I was talking to Coach Joff Cleopas, he would always mention about character, good habits. So for you, how has good character helped you guys win today?
Yun lang po, yung sa pinapakita lang po namin na sa instruction ni coach po na pag-execute lang po sa play na binigay niya at saka sa depensa po.
So every time you guys have been playing, you guys have been dominating your games. For you, what has been working really well for your team so that you could get this kind of result?
Ano po, tulungan lang po sa isa't isa at saka yun lang, sundan lang po yung ni coach binigay.
Well, of course, you have a lot of supporters watching you right now. Would you like to thank or greet anyone?
Una po, pasalamatan ko po si Lord sa pagbigay niya sa panalo na to at sa paggabay namin na wala na injury. At sa mama ko dyan sa Ulingan, sila Papa, Manong Borlo, Manong Binit, atin niya, Buwang Alobin niya. Sa sa mga supporters ko dyan sa Cebu, sa mga coaches ko, si Coach Sid Alosilio at saka si Kaya Bruno. At sa pamilya ko dyan sa Sindangan po. Yun lang po. At saka sa coaches ko po, sila Coach Job, Coach CJ, at Coach J, sa pagbigay po ng kumpiyansa sa akin.
Thank you so much once again. Congratulations, guard, for that amazing performance. And of course, congratulations to the Junior Altas for winning their second game. Back to you, Cholo and Randy.
Thank you very much, Daniel. Again, that is our best player of the game, guard Dulanas, helping the Perpetual Help Junior Altas get a dominating W. But stay tuned for our next and final game. It'll be between the MLQU Stallions and the St. Clair College of Caloocan Saints. A NAASCO matchup ahead of us. And once again, this has been Cholo Pangilinan, the Professor Randy Sakdalan, and Daniel Laguardia. And this is the one and only National Developmental Sports League Basketball Series.